This podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Listener discretion is advised as some cases contain graphic content. We mean no disrespect to anyone we discuss in this podcast except our exes. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. However, we will be expressing our personal opinions. Buckle up, Buttercup.
Hey guys, it's Cynthia.
And I'm Wes, and this is Love and Luminol, a true crime podcast.
Woo! And it is Sunday night. I'm in my pajamas. It's about 9:45, so we're going to do a quick one because we didn't get to it yesterday.
Yeah.
And there's no guarantees for next weekend because it's SummerSlam.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, so it's a possible no
you heard
episode
her.
Next week.
WWE is more important than
well,
you.
Daddy might come back, so we got to watch and make sure.
You heard her. WWE is more important than you.
I didn't say nothing. There's people out there saying, I can see that.
Yeah, I know there is.
Yeah, they're like, I'm watching SummerSlam too, I feel you. All right, this week we're going to go over a local one. Lisa Shuler.
Lisa Shuler.
Yeah. I mean, it's a common name, so I ain't even going to ask. You're like, yeah, it rings a bell.
I lived next to her in 1992. I don't know what you're talking about.
Like 50 bells. All right, well, let's get into this one.
All right, here we go.
It seems like some of these local ones, there's not a whole lot of details. It's weird. I don't get it.
I mean, it's not weird to me.
It's not.
I mean,
It's like in Indiana, in some areas, it's like, yeah, this happened, this is the trial date, this is the outcome. There's not multiple sources like other cases in Oklahoma or whatever. It's weird.
Yeah.
So this one is a short one because there ain't a whole lot of details.
All right. Well, let's do it.
Let's go. Lisa M. Shuler. This one's in New Albany,
Okay.
Indiana. Oh, yeah, I know where that's at.
I do know where that is.
She was born, like I said, not a lot of details. I got 1982.
Okay.
So,
Similar to my age.
yeah, born in 82. There's 12 opportunities for the month, but I don't know which one. All I found was 82.
It's somewhere in that year. We're not sure of the month.
From January to December. But she was 32 years old at the time of this incident. There's a picture of her. Colts fan, looks like.
Well, it is Indiana.
True. She looks familiar, too.
She kind of, you know what's funny is when you flipped that on and I was like...
Right? She looks like some
It's
people.
like I feel like I know her.
Yeah.
But the name don't sound familiar.
I know. I mean...
It's the Taco Bell dog. It makes us
It's
think
the
of Taco
Chihuahua.
Bell.
That looks so pleased to be in a
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
in a snowsuit. With fur around it. It's like,
Yo
you
quiero-
put me in a fur collar.
Yo quiero get this outfit off me. That's what he said.
But she worked as an employee of a healthcare company. Like I said, details.
We don't know which one?
No, worked in healthcare, and she had an EMT training at Jennings County 911 Center. So that had some details.
Oh, okay.
But the healthcare company...
All right. Well,
She was married 10 years to a Brandon Shuler.
okay.
Trying to think.
You're like, oh, shit, I do know her.
Well, I was like, I have a cousin whose dad's last name was Shuler. But I don't think he's Brandon.
Well, we're going to cut this one short.
Oh.
We have a vested interest in this
No.
case. No.
So that's what the last name sounds familiar to me, but I don't know. Brandon and Lisa don't sound familiar. But she was partaking in a sexual affair.
That's
Yes.
how I know her. No, I'm just kidding.
You're like, damn it, I knew it.
I knew her from somewhere.
Jerk.
No.
And it was just weird and kinky sex. That's all it was for. Nothing
Okay.
too serious.
Uh-huh.
But it was with a man named Charles Pierce, and he was 49.
Alrighty.
So a little older than her. That's him.
He looks familiar too. This is weird.
He's like, was that my gym teacher?
Now I know of a couple of different people who are into kinky, weird sex. All right.
We'll go into some store in some random place and his picture be up there in memory of Charles.
Employee of the month. Okay.
I know him. But his mom's name was Mildred Pierce. Go Mildred.
Yeah.
He was the youngest son out of who knows how many siblings. Details.
So ain't got a lot of them.
He was the baby. And he lived in and from Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay.
So yeah, he's down south from her, New Albany, Indiana, Louisville, Kentucky. So a little bit of a jog for that weird kinkiness.
Not really.
Not
that's not
too far.
That's not a distance.
No, what do you think? Like
I mean,
40 minutes, half hour?
From New Albany, Indiana to Louisville.
Where in New Albany though? Like is it out?
I'm just counting from the highway.
Exit. Oh, you're counting like from the interstate
From the interstate there.
to the New Albany
Maybe
exit.
Maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, see, I was thinking take that exit, go down, take
I'm not
another
talking
exit,
about
go
like
out.
going way deep into. I'm just counting. As soon as you hit the border into Louisville from the New Albany exit, I'd say 15, 20 minutes.
Details.
So we don't know all the details, but that from exit to exit, that's about 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay.
So
Not
I mean,
far.
that's like
Depends
that's
on
like
how
us making a
weird
run to McDonald's. I
kinky
mean,
it
we
He's doing the drive.
we've gone 20 minutes to McDonald's before. So
We have.
for some kinky sex,
You're like, what's 20 minutes?
what's 20 minutes, right?
But all went down on May 6th, 2013.
Okay.
So Lisa called 911 to report that she shot a stranger who broke into her house.
Alrighty.
That stranger was him.
But it's not a stranger.
We know.
Uh-oh.
Lisa lured Charles to her home. Oh, here we go. More details on Wabash Avenue. That sounds familiar too. Wabash.
I used to live in Terre Haute. Wabash Avenue is like the main highway in Terre Haute. That's why.
There's a Wabash in New
There's
Albany.
a Wabash everywhere.
So Wabash
There's a Wabash
Avenue.
in Indianapolis too. I know that.
Through text messages inquiring about a rape fantasy action role play thing.
Okay.
So she said, hey, come over.
Break
Some
in my
rape
back
fantasy.
door.
Yeah.
Throw me on the
Be
bed.
a burglar.
Yep. I got you.
I might shoot you. No, I'm sure she didn't add that in there.
She didn't bring that part up.
No. But Lisa told police that she left the front door unlocked while she was doing dishes. She said, just doing my dishes. you
Sure.
know. And Charles entered the home and the role playing began.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa performed a sex act on Charles in the living room. Afterwards, because this is after they're like a stranger, she's like, well. So she told him she left the door unlocked, did the dishes. He came over. She performed sex on him, and afterwards she told police that she did not want to go any further. So it was a sex act. It wasn't home base.
A sex act.
A sex act.
She performed a sex act on him,
So I'm
correct?
thinking, yeah.
I'm thinking it involved her mouth.
Yeah, and then she said that's as far as I want to go. But he wanted to go farther.
Did he
And-
finish? I mean, if she's
details.
like, if he's done and she's like, I don't want to do anything else, he'd be like, all right, well, I'm cool. So next time, I don't know.
Well, but she's never been in any type of trouble with the law before. Floyd County Sheriff's deputy entered the home and saw, quote, a large pool of blood in the living room near the front door
Damn.
and, quote, blood splatter on the living room wall.
Alrighty.
Yes. His pants and underwear were pulled down to his knees.
That's that sex act we were
Yeah.
talking about.
And he had multiple gunshot wounds to the chest
Damn.
by a .40 caliber handgun. Yeah.
So he finished, she got up and just shot him.
Just shot the
Because the
crap out
pants
of
were
him.
still down and
Yep,
everything. So
underwear
it's like,
still out. He didn't know it coming.
so it's like,
No pun intended. He didn't even, yeah. It's like multiple times.
man.
Prosecutor Keith Henderson said, quote, multiple shots were fired. The gun was emptied. Mr. Pierce was killed with a .40 caliber handgun.
The gun was emptied.
Yeah. Multiple shots. She emptied it.
What did he do?
That's what I'm wondering. Like, what the...
He pissed her off. He said something to set her... No, she would have had to have the gun on her.
Yeah. She planned this. Because
he
it says she lured him.
But they've had a relationship, right?
Yeah.
This is not the first time.
No, this ain't the first time.
So, yeah, he pissed her off, like, recently and then said, hey, okay, water under the bridge. Hey, why don't you come over and let's play this game?
What? Okay. Sure.
Sounds good to me.
Oh, God. Investigators combed through such evidence as adult dating sites.
Yeah.
Because she was on those. And hundreds of images and messages to determine more about their relationship. I'm sure those investigators were having a ball.
Like, here's
They're like, they're in weird, kinky sex? Yeah, I'll go through
Hey,
her
Jeremy,
phone.
you got to read this one.
And images? Hundreds of images? Oh, God. I bet they were having a blast.
Yeah.
How do you get that job? I bet they had to rock, paper, scissors over who was going to go through her phone.
You wouldn't need any smut books if you had that job.
Right? I'm like, we're going to start at the beginning.
You're like, no, he didn't.
What?
Yes, he did.
Right? Be like a picture book.
Why don't they make your smut books picture books?
He's like, idea. Don't take it from me. I claim it. I need a
It doesn't work with the
comic book style
audiobook,
smut
but-
book.
Yeah.
But police say Lisa erased, but attempted to erase because they could still get to it, over 200 text messages between the two before the police got there.
Well.
She had time to delete some text. Because,
Need
of course,
Need it, got it, need it, nope.
her story, started as stranger, so she had to
Yeah,
delete those
not a stranger
messages.
anymore.
And then when they caught onto that pretty quick, she had to change it to, I wanted him to stop and I was done, but he didn't. And
But he was a stranger 10 minutes ago, according to you.
right. So, the days before the murder, she posted photos of a .40 caliber handgun, the same caliber used in the murder, and an image of a Grim Reaper figure armed with a gun.
Okay.
So she's just posting like, check my gun out. Here's a Googled image of the Grim Reaper.
What the hell?
Right? I don't know. She claimed that she didn't throw Charles out after her, don't want to go farther. She didn't just kick him out because he had pictures of her that she did not want her husband to know about.
Well, yeah, there's hundreds of images, remember?
Right? So I went from he's a stranger to he didn't want to stop, and I wanted to stop, but he didn't. I didn't just kick him out because he threatened with photos that he had of me to show my husband.
How did this stranger have all these photos of you, ma'am?
Right. Right. The police are probably like, you changed your story 4 times since we walked in the door.
Mm-hmm.
And Henry over there is still going through your phone. Not paying a bit of attention.
He's
He
like,
got his bag to him. He's like,
I'll be back. You got a bathroom around here?
right. Well, and that's supposedly, I'd assume that was the whole, I don't know what you call it. Motive. There we go. It's like motive for the crime is he probably was going to tell her husband.
I'm thinking that's it, yeah.
Yeah, she probably was either wanting to cut it off, got bored, whatever, and he's like, no, I will show your husband what we've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, whatever, fuck, I guess, come on over, And then decides she's going to do this stranger break-in thing.
Yep. Women, they get a little crazy when you start saying you're going to tell their husband. or you're going to tell on them in some way.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, he could have got punched. He could have beat up, anything.
Punched, yeah. Could have got punched.
Instead, he got shot in the chest a few times.
Some of us are lucky, I guess.
And I don't understand what the point was because the cop showed up and went through her phone, and I bet her husband still found out.
Yeah.
So it's like, but in this scenario, she's got time in jail for it. So I figured you just let him find out and avoid prison time, whatever. But she was arrested. Probably.
I would hope so. She looks different in that picture.
Right.
Okay.
Because it ain't no role playing in prison. She said some time. And Lisa and her husband separated shortly after her arrest. I wonder why.
I would hope so. If I was that guy, I would have been, I mean, listen. I've seen these messages.
Right? He's like...
and then you ended up just killing the motherfucker in our living room. I don't think this is going to work out.
No. You get that call. He's like, to accept this call, $10.95. He's like...
That's a little pricey.
It is. I don't want to talk to her anyway. I'll just divorce her. I was like, it ain't working out. But collect calls are expensive.
All communications can go through our lawyer.
Right? The judge on the case was Maria Granger. The judge requested a public offender. She's
the public offender.
The judge requested a public defender for her and no bond. Because her husband's like, I'm out.
Deuces.
She pleaded guilty. There's a picture of her walking through some jail. Is that Clark County? I feel like it's on 90 Days Straight or something. It looks like Clark County green and I don't know. Who knows?
Is there? Well, you said Floyd County earlier.
Yeah.
New Albany.
New Albany.
Floyd. Is there a Floyd County prison?
Possibly.
Or a New Albany
I'm
prison?
sure. I don't know. I know Clark was on 90 Days In or something.
You just recognize the green jumpsuit?
Yeah. I was like, that looks familiar. Lisa was involved in this kinky relationship she tried to hide from her husband, which authorities say ultimately led to her shooting Charles to death, trying to cover it up because he's going to rat her out. Later, she admitted to inviting him over to her house to act out this fantasy and the plan to shoot him.
Oh, so it was, it was definitely planned.
Court documents say that Lisa shot Charles while she was performing a sexual act on him. So poor guy was enjoying having the time of his life.
He probably didn't finish.
I don't know.
That sucks.
Fluid was coming out.
Could have at least finished him before you shot him. I mean,
yeah. Have the decency.
God.
She pulled a gun from a holster she had on her waist and fired until it was empty at point blank range.
Well, there you go. Now we know pretty much what that sexual act is if her clothes are still on and she has a waist to be able to have a gun holstered.
True that he didn't feel was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you imagine? She's just sitting there in front of you and all of a sudden just whips a gun out and just starts shooting you in the chest over and over. That's awful.
I can just hear it popped out of her mouth and then pop in the gun.
Gosh. But police determined that her alleged motive was to prevent Charles from showing pornographic photos of the two of them to her husband. So yeah, he was going to rat her out.
Yep.
In court, Lisa apologized to the family, saying, quote, "I know I can't take away any of the hurt. I regret that day and wish there were things I could change."
But she planned it.
Yeah.
It's not like it was an accident and I regret my actions.
Right?
Like, it's like, I really thought that through.
Wish I
this was the
myself
plan.
out of it. Oh, no. You imagine being the parent to this Charles guy, having to go through all those messages and sex acts.
Man.
To know he got shot in the
She
middle
really
of
should have said in court.
Performance.
I really should have let him finish first.
That's my regret. I should have finished.
At least he would have went happy.
Oh, God. Died smiling.
There's a big grin on his face.
Oh, poor fella. The sentencing took 11 whole minutes.
Wow.
Oh, I know.
Which is longer than... No.
Longer what he got.
Longer than the sex act.
Oh, Lord. On January 29th of 2014, she was sentenced to 45 years.
Jesus.
After pleading guilty to the, quote, rape fantasy murder.
Wow.
They're calling it. Yeah. Floyd County Chief Deputy Prosecutor Steve Owen called the sentence, quote, just. Probably because he didn't get to finish.
That's why the prosecutor thought it. It's like, that's just, I'm telling you.
That's fair. He stated, quote, "The facts showed an intentional act on Miss Shuler's part and a premeditated act through text messages. She had invited him to the house." James Osborne, a neighbor of Charles, stated that Charles had a rough time with women.
I can see that.
He said, quote, "I do know, in my opinion, I don't think he treated women fairly."
Oh.
So
Well.
he might have been, this scenario started out as mutual playful, and then he's like, "You either going to do this or I'm going to tell your husband."
Yeah, it's possible.
That is very possible. Lisa's grandmother, who's named Iretta Michael. Iretta said, quote, "If it hadn't been for drugs, alcohol, and perverse sex, neither one of them would be lost.
Well.
She was raised in a Christian family, and I don't know, she went down. She chose to go the other way. She repented, but she's going to pay 45 years. She's not a cold-blooded murderer."
Sounds like she is to me.
So Grandma's like, she was raised in a Christian family.
And we know to let them finish first.
Not knowing that she's raised in a Christian family, and
How else do you
adulterous
think
rape fantasy relationships very commonly paired together. It's like,
she was raised in a Christian home. We don't do that sort of thing down on our knees. We pray.
well, she said if it hadn't been for the drugs, alcohol, perverse sex, she was raised in a Christian home. I'm like, they always say that.
Yeah.
That's all you hear.
My
raised Christian.
other question is, when was, I mean, I got the perverse sex, but where did the drug and alcohol come from?
Right.
We didn't even hear that part of the story.
I know. Apparently,
They snorting coke? And
She has a drug problem too. Drug, alcohol, rough sex. But she's raised Christian. She repented, but
Well,
she said
that's
she
good.
repented, but she is going to do 45 years of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
It doesn't. It may wipe the slate clean elsewhere, but not here on Earth.
not in the justice system. And God up there's like, should have let him finish.
I should have let him finish.
We could have worked something out. Parole.
Yep.
But poor Mildred, on top of dealing with her son's more controversial death, was also at the same time dealing with a cancer diagnosis.
Well, shit.
Yeah, so God's really taking it out on this woman. But, Lord.
Man.
Charles would always check on his mother since he lived right next door to her.
Not anymore.
She said, quote, "He was always coming over and I still expect that back door to open and holler, 'Mom, I don't know how long that's going to take. Every time I go to the deck, there's his house.'" Because she lives right next door. Yep, and that's her. So she gets to see his house and all that. Mildred said, quote, "She planned it, but maybe she won't plan another one."
No, she's
Not
in prison.
for 45 years, Mildred.
She's got to wait a little while.
Not for 45 years. And that was the case of Charles
Wow.
and Lisa Shuler. It's a doozy. New Albany. What are you
New
doing?
Albany, Indiana.
Lord, never look at that exit the same way again. Oh, so thoughts out to Mildred. I don't have an update on her cancer diagnosis or how that went out for her.
Well, that was what?
2014 is when the court case.
So I'm
When she
assuming the
was
interview was probably around that same
sentenced,
time.
Yeah, 14, 15.
Cancer. It's been what?
He was 49, so she had to be older. I
Yeah.
don't know. Well, thoughts out to Charles and his family.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. Like I said, details. I don't know if he has kids. I don't know. Siblings, nothing of that. But thoughts. Well, he was the youngest son, so he has siblings. So thoughts to his family.
Yeah.
Lisa.
We know she was married, but did it necessarily say if he was married or not? I don't
didn't
think he
say.
did because the neighbor said he had problems with
Yeah,
women.
said he had a
So
problem with women. He didn't treat them right. But that doesn't mean he wasn't previously married and had some
That could have
kids or
been.
something.
Yeah, I just meant currently. It's not like he had a
currently
family.
I don't think he was.
Currently.
Lisa was.
Yeah,
Poor Brandon.
Lisa.
Thoughts to Brandon. That had to be a shocker.
I'm sure a shocker was listed in the text messages at some point too.
Right?
Two in the, one in the. Yeah.
Well, could you imagine if, like, I ain't even going to use me because I won't do it, but like, if you got a call because your wife shot somebody dead in the house and you think it's a stranger broke in, and the cops are like, we got 200 text messages and pornographic images with her with this man.
They've been going at it a
Yeah,
while.
they had this affair for a long time with this kinky ass shit. And she shot him in the chest because he's going to tell you about it. That would be horrible to get hit with all at once. To go from you're worried about her because a stranger broke in, she had to shoot somebody.
That slut.
To anger because she knew that guy.
Yeah.
Like, she was
That
sex act with that
bitch.
guy. Yeah.
I'm gonna kill her.
So poor Brandon went through a roller coaster too.
Yeah.
And it didn't list if they had kids, so that would be rough.
I would
for-
hope not.
Yeah, that would be rough for them. So that's the doozy of a case for New Albany.
Way to go, New Albany.
Way to set the bar. Lord. All right, that's all I got.
All right. Well, feel free to like and subscribe to get more from us. We are available on all social media except for X at Love and Luminol for all of that. You can also go to our website, loveandluminol.com, for a link list of our audio and video podcasts and where to find them, as well as all of the social media accounts. You can contact us on all the social media accounts, but on that website, there is also a contact us form. So if you want to hit us up and let us know how we're doing, feel free to do so there.
Yeah. Like I said, maybe not an episode next weekend. We may definitely TikTok and yell about SummerSlam.
Yeah, I say,
Because I think SummerSlam's like 7 or something.
yeah, it's late, and then it goes for like 3,
Ever.
4, 5,
Yeah.
6 hours. I say for right now, don't expect one next week.
Yeah. We're not going to promise nothing.
We're not promising shit. All right?
Yeah. Depending on how things go, we could be, too tired because it's late, or we could be just mad. So
True
we
that.
don't know how this is going.
Yep.
But,
the week after that, we'll be back for sure.
oh, yeah. Nothing's happening that weekend.
That we know of.
Yet. Yet.
All right. Well,
That's it.
all right. Well, we'll see you guys next
All right,
time.
See ya.
Bye. You would have let me finish.